Free Running is a sports game that was developed by Rebellion, published by Reef Entertainment, and released on the PS2 in April of 2007. It received mixed reviews during the time of its release, ranging from 5 to 7 out of 10 at best, and was certainly not a commercial success at the time either. So first off, let me apologise, because although my name is the Retro Game Rater, I made a bit of an oversight when playing this game, as I was completely unaware that it was released almost 2 years into the Xbox 360 and PS3 life cycle. I assumed that because this was a PS2 game and wasn't FIFA, that it must have been released between 2000 and 2005, but I've played the game now, so let's just move on with the review, I guess. This game sucks. See you next week. Oh, sorry, you wanted a detailed review. Okay then. Free Running, as you might have guessed, is a game based on free running, or as some of you may know it, parkour. There's no narrative here to speak of, and it's quite similar in structure to an early Tony Hawk game, with a bunch of environments to complete challenges in. So the game opens up, lets you choose your character, and throws you into a gym to teach you the basics in the most agonisingly slow and clunky tutorial I've possibly ever experienced. And then the game says, okay, have fun. And then you try and figure out a way to do that. My biggest issue with this game, and the reason it is so disappointing, is that it's so much more complex from a gameplay perspective than it needs to be. As you load up the game, you think, okay, a third-person game based on free running. Hopefully it'll be fast, fluid, easy and fun. And then you play the game and it's slow, clunky, difficult and boring. The controls just have a real sluggish feel to them, and it's awkward to control, so much so that it reminded me of some of the old GTA games, except in those games you're not expected to be agile and climb structures. Every time you run, you'll feel like you're moving too fast for the terrible camera to catch up. Every time you jump, you have to perform a roll to break your landing, which sometimes doesn't work, and every time you climb an object, you feel like you're playing a beta version of The Prince of Persia. Now, about 18 months after this game came out, Mirror's Edge came along and showed everyone how to do free running in games, so you can cut this title a little slack, but the design choice to have you press multiple buttons to perform simple actions is just baffling. On top of this, you can perform tricks while free running around the place, but instead of this being a simple button press of holding L1 while in mid-air, it's overly complicated combos such as L1, R1 triangle, followed by carefully timed continuous presses of the X button to keep the flow going. This takes away some of the incentive to perform any of the tricks, because some of them just feel like combos from Tekken. As mentioned before, there is no story or focus for this game's progression. There are a number of similar looking areas to unlock, and within each area there are challenges such as races against other runners, score challenges, time trials, and some strange mode where you play as a crash dummy and just throw yourself around. Other games have taken this structure and succeeded. There were endless extreme sports games back in the late 90s and early 2000s that you can point at, but those games managed to get the core gameplay right and made the game fun enough that you'd enjoy simply messing around, even if you didn't take on the challenges. Each task to complete in this title feels like a chore, as you wonder just how much you're going to have to wrestle with this game's controls to get the job done. I would like to say that Free Running is a nice looking game for the PS2, and it kind of is, but it was released in 2007 and is possibly a port from the Wii, so I'm not sure if that actually counts. Regardless, while the game isn't beautiful, it's not offensive to your eyes, although the weird sunset lit environments do make you feel like the game exists in a post-apocalyptic world at times. So it's probably best if I wrap this up, because I'm rapidly running out of things to say on this one. Free Running is an extreme sports game that should have aimed for silly simplicity, but clearly went a little too technical for its own good. Its controls are frustrating and feel like they're actively working against you at times, and this game's only redeeming quality is its ragdoll physics that kick into gear when you fall from a great height. In short, there is a reason I had never heard of this game until I picked it up for 25p, and if you ever see it on a store shelf for the same price, I'd advise putting that 25p to something more useful, like buying a quarter of a Freddo bar.